はい、では続きをやっていきましょう。第6章ホーキンス邸ですねを始めていきたいと思います。なんかいるもうはいわかりました。
Who goes there? That nightmare again. I need a drink.
はい、ということで CP さんよし。死亡。フランシス・サンダース死亡。リバーサイド病院の地下室で、第5章手がかり。で、アイテムが全部医学書だね。よし。夜が明けている。
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day's only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
I saw people in hoods. They had stolen Mrs. Hawkins' paintings.
Who are you talking about? Why would they do such a thing?
I don't know, but they were a threat. They've taken over the caves under the mansion. They were performing some kind of ritual. One of the entryways was under Charles Hawkins' office.
We suspect Mr. Hawkins of being involved.
My patients believe the old islanders used to worship primitive sea gods. Could they be the focus of the cult?
Am I hearing this right?
So you think me gullible?
No, not at all.
What else did you uncover, Mr. Pierce?
これ多分分岐だろうな。コールデンとブラッドリーに話しかけるっていうので。
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
俺的にはこの人はなんで生きてるのかは絶対不思
The
議
other
なんで
night's
すよ。
events are still confused in my head.
Hmm. なんでブラッドリー巡査官生きてんだ？不思議。あの時に確かに目の前にチャールズ・ホーキンスにお腹貫かれたと思ったんだけどな。なんだろ
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders? I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here.
う。Oh my god, cat.
You know each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, Detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
なんだなんであのキャットさんがいるんでしょうね。
May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
Mrs. Sanders, I understand your grief, and I extend my deepest condolences to you. But I had nothing to do with the death of your husband. I've just arrived on Darkwater. I'm investigating the death of the Hawkins family.
The death of the Hawkins family? You mean it was not an accident? This accursed island knows only tragedy after tragedy. You too would be advised to flee it like the plague. Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it, I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I count on ridding myself of that thing as soon as I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long. Did she really care for him after all?
フラー医師は何を考えておられる？遊んでる場合じゃねえ。でもなんかあれがありそうね。はい。さすがにね、どっかのゲームみたくあれだよね、人ん家の家に入っていろいろ炭素を漁ったりはできないよね、さすがにね。ね、できない、そんなことしちゃダメ。人ん家に来てね、人の家に来てね、物を漁っちゃうなんてことはね、やっちゃダメですよ。
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Oh, 再現シーンここに来て。
Frances Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? A house of artists. A house of artists. A house of artists. Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
怖すぎて売ることができなかった。
House of Artists.
まだ調査できるところ
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel? Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
Oh.
The Shambler. I need to see it. Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings. That accursed Sarah.
Irene, I made a mistake. Fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes.
Wait, 今バックサウンド もう一回ちょっと待って、バックサウンド聞こう。なんだ、なんで突然音楽が流れてる？
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold it back.
違うな。お、開いた。
Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
Yosh. いやー、今なんとなく聞いててよかった。なんで急にピアノの音が流れ出すんだろうと思ったけど。これがその彼の書斎か？
I could use one of those. A strange Amerindian pendant.
うん。
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
画廊の鍵。なんだっけこれ。なんだっけティンダロスの猟犬か。ギギギギ、何
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Hmm. 多分あれは多分ね、そう、マルス・ベスティアルム、多分ね、さっきこれに書かれてた動物ワンコ2頭のワンコはティンダロスの猟犬って呼ばれるやつじゃなかったかな。
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
I have a well-off client in Boston who heard about the death of Francis Sanders and wanted me to size up his estate before making an offer to his widow.
Perfect, Detective. The pretext? The body language? I would have bought it if it was the first time I'd seen your face. You're a good talker, Pierce. Your story will do for the moment.
I found this drawing of a dagger. Did you come across anything like it in your reading?
I must have seen it in the ledgers, yes. Sanders has a whole collection of ancient weapons.
I'll take a look. Will you come with me?
I haven't finished with these ledgers.
As you wish.
Hmm. チェックポイント入ったね。これが画廊か。なんというかいびつな、これが担当かな。そしてスフィンクス像でありながら女性の骸骨をつけてる顔同じく。どういう彫刻だこれ。でマリア像っぽいのにクトゥルの顔。発狂しそうこれ。
This looks expensive. The public entrance to the gallery.
空に上がっていく人 人というか人の影？
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
いやー怖いですね。完全にもうくとってますね。くとってます。これは産地が削られていく。あ、やった。オイル補充できた。ほう。そしてなんて書いてるかはわからない。わおわお、おー怖い。あ、いかんいかん。ちょっと咳込んじゃった。もう触手がうねうねしてるのがもう気持ち悪いね。でっかっ。天使に見えて実は悪魔の像か。そして赤ちゃんがガチョウかな、これ。アヒルかなをひっ捕まえている。そして異形なるものか。邪神だね。うわ血が、うわ血が、そして問題の絵画があれか、空鬼って呼ばれてるんだっけ。サンダースが描いた担当。担当の絵どれだっけ。担当どこだ。これじゃない、これじゃない、これじゃない。違うな、これじゃない。どこだあの担当。これじゃないね。あった、これだ。
Why was he so interested in old weapons?
うわちょっとエドワード後ろ後ろ異形なるものあ、わかった。あ、そう。あなたナイトゴンツですね。わかりました。空鬼。なるほど。だからナイトゴンツか。
What the hell was that?